Okay, wiring continues, finally getting closer to setting up the computer, as well as wiring up a few of my aftermarket gauges. The wiring continues. I've got my air temp sensor wired in now. I set the intake back on and then made sure that this would clear all the tubes and all the wires and everything. So I've got this whole thing pretty much put together from here on over. Just a test tube here. So I went ahead and I finished this as well. This is the distributor hookup. So I've got all the wires connected from the Vipec computer to here, and that clips on right here under the right there under the distributor. Okay, so really only have one thing left to do here in the rear of the motor is do my injectors. So I've kind of clamped everything together, or taped everything together here in the nice smooth thing. I put this little clamp here, and I put these little tie wraps on here, and I've got everything looking pretty smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and take this apart and solder those wires together one at a time. Like a crazy man out here. I've got all of my connections. This is my air sensor. This is the wastegate solenoid here. This is the idle speed control. Lights and things for the passenger side. I took a bunch of this wire loom out of here, and this is the lights for the driver's side. A couple of wires that just go straight through the front still, but I basically got everything tied in. Got my injectors done here. I'm going to wrap everything with some nice loom here once I get everything running. I've got everything going up through there. Got all my grounds for my computer and engine ground. This is the license plate and the courtesy switch in the back. There's a starter relay. There's the resistor pack for the injectors. There's the resistor for the fuel pump. There's the fuel pump relay. It's kind of dark in here, but it all comes back through here. Underneath here, this is my O2 controller, my wideband O2 controller, which just piggybacks the main harness up through here. Comes down to my bung here in the exhaust. Okay, and then everything comes through. There's the main harness. There's the fuel pressure sender. Comes back up through here. Just kind of tied. Everything's kind of tied in. This is where my computer mounts. There's the computer harness connector. Comes down here. I've got a lot of extra wires from the computer and some extra wires from the Toyota that you never know if you're going to need. So I come down through here. I've got a ground point here. I've got this is like the rear window defogger. It's the high stoplight, things like that. This is control for the fuel pump relay. This all comes through here, makes some nice turns and bends, and comes on up through. Okay, I've gone on and tapped onto quite a few wires in here so that I can, this is my gauge pod wiring. I had to try to get my, go ahead and get all my gauges in, so I've created this little metal, sheet metal piece just to hold the gauges up here, kind of far away from where they'll be. Not sure wherever they're going to be, final location's going to be, but I've gone ahead and built my wiring harnesses here for the gauges. I've actually wired in some 1 amp fuses into the gauge to try to keep from frying the gauge for some reason. But there's the O2 gauge, there is the fuel pressure regulator, and there is the boost gauge.